The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show would like to acknowledge the traditional land owners and the leaders past, present and emerging of Ngunnawal, Ngambri and Darawal countries where we are working from today. This always was, and always will be, Aboriginal land.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Once we get to Sunday or Monday for us Aussies, it's going to be one heck of a show, I reckon. I've only really went for 2 Super Bowl championship teams. Since I've pretty much watched the Super Bowl, I've never gone for the winning team. So I remember the Peyton Manning Broncos, I went for them, but I was going for the Panthers as well. I was like on the fence in that game. But yeah, I also went for the Eagles. Okay, I mean, the Saints, Colts, and also the Steelers, Cardinals. I went for both teams because I didn't know what the game was like back then. I went for the Broncos officially because they won.
G'day Aussie Gridiron fans, and welcome to what will be the final episode of the 2022 NFL Gridiron season. We are obviously post-Super Bowl. This is us again. Back down to myself, Manjot and Matty. The other boys are away with a bit of sickness and some family stuff going on, but that's fine because we're doing a bit of a Super Bowl breakdown and where we are. And we're just going to recap a little bit of season stuff in terms of Super Bowl and things that we've done, and I guess things we're thankful for. And first off, I guess, I'm thankful for you boys. How you going?
Yeah, man, I'm having the time of my life. Greatest thing in my life just happened right there. Watching that Super Bowl, that was probably the greatest moment of my life. I've just been having fun ever since. It's been great. Hopefully, this feeling can continue. It's just been great. It's been a fun few days watching it. Glad to see the game's been growing in Australia as well. More people watching the Super Bowl again. I think it was 500,000 combined between Channel 7 and ESPN.
That's big numbers. That's good numbers for you.
Yeah, probably more because people at bars and whatever, they might counter for it.
Yep.
Yeah, so it might just be the 500,000 TV sets, but it's pretty good seeing how the Super Bowl has really grown here. It's become a massive event. People are just taking a day off. I think most people are using it as an excuse to drink or just partying. But
no. We're Australian. We wouldn't do that. Not at all.
Not at all.
No,
we wouldn't eat or drink to excess. Never.
No. And we would never, ever drink before 10 in the morning on a Monday. Manjot, no.
Would not be done.
Never.
No,
Have you ever done that before, Manjot? See?
Nah, I haven't, man. Come on.
See?
I'm 20, going on 21, and that's years sober and years old too. So.
Yeah. See? And I think Manjot speaks for all of us.
I was literally running down a road at 10 o'clock on Monday morning to my first beer. So
that's hilarious.
It was it was definitely a good day. No, it was a good day. Great game, Matty, wasn't it?
Great game. And while sadly in terms of predictions, I was on the short end of all of us, and I took the team that didn't win, and only one sticking my neck out on that. I felt really pleased that one, and we're talking about this pre-show, how many points in that game, and for it to still come down to, well, whoever's got the ball last. That's mental to me. And I love that that's what the product that we get to talk about is like. I really love that. And you get to the showcase game, that was a showcase of American football. A great version of the product.
Yeah, it's absolutely the game we deserved at the end of this season, at the end of this crazy season where literally in some areas anything could happen. And this really was the game I think we definitely deserved. And over 70 odd points scored in a Super Bowl, that you just have to hear that and look at a box score, and that game was exciting, and that there was stuff going on everywhere, and there were plays, and there was offensive and defensive, and it was just all over the park. I mean, it's just, Manjot, are you happy with the result?
Oh man, of course I am.
Look, here we go. Clear some space, everyone. Clear some space.
firstly, on what Matty said about being a great showcase of the game. A lot of people I know who are just getting into the NFL or just watching the Super Bowl because the
Yeah.
Super Bowl is a big event. They told me they're like, this was an amazing game. I can see why American football is like pretty good, like why it's a great game. And it didn't feel so stop-start because everyone was scoring all the time. It felt like a great and very fast-paced game. So yeah, everyone was really loving it from what I heard. And look, I did enjoy the result. I was very happy. It felt like vindication as a Niners fan to see that the Eagles lost. It was just great. I know I shouldn't be shitting on the Eagles. We talked about pre-show, but I can't help myself. Look, that fan base, man, like that they could be absolute cancer sometimes, or most of the time, actually. Most of the time.
Wow.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
agree with you there. That fan base can
Yeah,
definitely.
look,
Come out
to see them
swinging.
lose, it was just absolutely great. And the way it happened was even better. Like, just, and also being a Mahomes fan too, just seeing him come back, that comeback was absolutely insane. I mean, look, I was watching like that game. First drive, I thought it was over. The Eagles were just absolutely killing that Chiefs defense. They were just like, I'm like, they're never going to get the ball back off these guys. And then that's how it pretty much played out the first half. It was like, yeah, they really, really can't get anywhere on it. And then at halftime, I'm sitting there thinking, why didn't I pick Eagles by 14? Like my gut was telling me the whole week. Why did I pick the Chiefs 38-35? And then I remembered because I changed my prediction at the last minute because of Patrick Mahomes. And even though he hurt his ankle just before halftime, when he had pretty much zero of the ball, it felt like absolutely everything was going against Patrick Mahomes. And then the second half, he comes out and he plays an absolutely great game. That was just incredible. Having 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, just a phenomenal performance. I know his
Two
yardage totals look,
incompletions, was it, in the whole second half?
yeah. I
Something
think they
like
only
that? One
had
or two?
one. They had one. So they had no penalties, no sacks, no turnovers. They had a perfect half just of one incompletion. That's it.
3
Like,
touchdowns. Like,
yeah, it was beautiful football by
It was
Kansas
beautiful.
City.
It was beautiful football all around, but definitely by Kansas City. I think the thing that was most surprising to me was not just going into the sheds and going into halftime 10 points down, but it was, well, I guess any team that is, and 10 points is not a lot. 10 points doesn't seem like a lot, I should say. 10 points is a lot when it's the Super Bowl and it's the caliber of the two teams that we have on display. And it would have been the same if we'd had the 49ers or the Bills or
Bengals.
the Bengals in the Super Bowl as well. The caliber of that team, 10 points is a lot. It's a big thing to overcome. But the fact that the most surprising thing to me, the fact that the Chiefs came out and stuck with a run game rather than panicking and just trying to go pass heavy in that second half. And then the majority of that run game, those little chunk plays from Checo and a bit there from McKinnon as well, that those things helped them support that bit of a pass game and help them support and just push and push and push and get back. And I think it was just that was the most surprising thing to me. You don't see teams do that a lot. And obviously that comes out of the brain of Andy Reid.
absolutely.
Straight out of the brain of Andy Reid. And it's just, you have to hand it to Andy Reid specifically and the rest of the Chiefs for just believing in the things that he and the rest of his coaching staff put forward to them and go, no, we can do this and this is how we're going to do it.
Yep.
And then they just pushed it that way, offensively and defensively too. So
Yeah, it takes a bit to get me out of the colors like teal and white, but today I'm wearing red, and it's because I donned the Chiefs jersey. And you might be tricked into thinking this is a Priest Holmes jersey, but sorry, we started recording a bit late today because I had to make a prop, and here's the moment of the reveal. Wait up.
oh wow, here we go. Matty and his props.
Oh man, I'm a bit of a prop too.
Oh man.
So for the radio audience, I've just stapled a "ma" in front of Holmes on the back of my. I've just written it in pen, coloured it in thick, and just pinned it on. That's it. So that's how you get a Priest Holmes into a P. Mahomes jersey for $0, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and then you can also roll up a bit of paper.
Here we go.
Smoke that Philly pack as well. There you go. I've got my own props too. Look, I don't smoke, not condone smoking.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Your mum will come in.
Yeah, no. But
did you see how cheeky his face was as he put that to his mouth? He's like, I know I'm doing something naughty.
And again, for our radio audience, Manjot was frantically looking to his right the whole time, just looking at the door just in case someone was coming through
it. Terrified. So look, it was, to me, I think for a losing team, Philadelphia, can you play much better in a loss?
I don't think so. No,
on the biggest occasion.
Probably no, not. And I think they played well. There's parts of it that they could have played better, and I think that was the strength of what the Chiefs did in terms of defense. They absolutely took away all of their power on running. Apart from Hurts himself, there was no production at all out of Gainwell or Sanders. Even Boston Scott, good Lord, I thought he was going to get one of those random TDs. He got so close. And I was just having a brain meltdown.
That Gainwell first touchdown too could have paid someone a lot of money.
I know.
We've seen that coming.
It was crazy.
Goodness.
But the Chiefs took that away from him and made it into a Jalen Hurts has to pass game. But he was up to the task.
But he did it. That's what I liked about it.
27 of 38, 304 yards, and one of his touchdowns came from passing. That it was a bloody good. I mean, he did get sacked a couple of times.
More rushing than any quarterback in a Super Bowl ever, and 3 touchdowns.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
but also
3 rushing touchdowns.
But the fumble. Man,
yeah,
what's the fumble?
Yeah, there's a few miscues I did want to highlight with the Eagles. Yeah. There was a few miscues that cost them in that game, and that fumble for one kept the Chiefs a lot closer than it should have been in that first half, because their defense was on the field for full straight 8 minutes in that second quarter because they returned that fumble for a touchdown. They had no break, so it was like, yeah, they probably got away with one.
It was an embarrassing fumble too, in terms of no contact, just lost it. Just lost it.
Just an
trying to do the right thing too, trying to protect it and lost it.
And then Bolton returns it all the way untouched as well with an entourage of Chiefs. It was crazy watching that. Yeah, they almost had a similar one where Bolton almost had a second one, but Sanders did
you see Bolton? There was a shot of Bolton after that second one, which obviously got turned back, which is bullshit. I was just like, "Whoa, that infuriating."
Nah, that was the right call.
I don't know. He did not establish. So he had the 2 feet down, but I don't think there was the football move that you see. There was nothing up.
So one of the guys that I was watching the Super Bowl with he's been like a 40 years Seahawks fan, and he's seen a lot. He actually knows a lot about the game. And he was saying as they were going, it is the football move, which I knew. It has to be. They look for a football move. Yep. But there's a number of seconds that you need to be holding onto that ball before you make that football move that they also look for. So there's that part. But I mean, they
got the call right. I mean, if it stood,
they did.
I also would have been okay with it.
I would have definitely been okay with it. But anyway,
but I think because they review all the touchdowns, then I'm like, well, they're probably going to overturn this, and then they did.
The point. So what I was getting at was with Bolton. After that second one, where as he was running back past the sideline, tosses the ball to one of his personnel, and the look he gave them as he tossed the ball was essentially, "I'm about to win MVP here."
Yeah.
This is, and honestly, you would have if he got two defensive touchdowns, it would have been MVP all the way.
100%.
I think I was calling for him to be MVP, and then it got overturned. I was like, dang it. Yeah, he's not going to get MVP.
Did you hear what happened to Ian? Is that while the review was on, Manjot's like, did I mention about Nick Bolton being a sleeper great call of mine on the podcast? I'm like,
I mentioned him last.
And I go, no, you didn't. And he's like,
I
Oh,
think I mentioned him being like a guy that they have to say. I did say
Oh,
on Instagram in one of the NFL
yeah.
Australia
It goes, oh, it
comment
must have been.
sections that
Oh,
they left Nick Bolton off the graphic. And I thought that was quite disrespectful to Nick Bolton, that he should be one of the three Chiefs defenders on that graphic. And then he wasn't. So I was like, okay, leave him off all you want. And look, I said Bradbury as well.
you didn't
And
say him on the podcast though, man. And
yeah.
I
we
love
have
how he's trying to claim it, though. Don't you love
we
that?
have
He's
audio
turning into
proof.
Taylor. This guy's
It's still
turning
a
into
claim.
Taylor.
It is. You have been around Taylor too long.
I've been around Taylor too long. Yeah,
I love it. Check out the swagger. He's like, I'm sure I said it.
But the same as with Taylor, we have audio proof. So
But I love the confidence where he's just like,
proof.
man, I talk about every player, so I'm sure I must have said him on the podcast. I just love the confidence from Manjot. He's grown so much this year. It's surely been my favorite bit of the year.
Yeah,
yeah.
one thing. There is audio proof of me saying the Chiefs would win 38-35.
There is.
Yes, there
on a
is.
field goal in the last seconds of the game. So anyone trying to
Or
take
overtime.
that away from me, look,
Technically, it's last seconds of the game.
Look,
It's just
that
stretching it
counts.
out to cover as many options as possible.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, Matty, but come
Yeah,
on,
I
man.
know.
The
I
Eagles
know,
are going to win
right.
by 2 scores, but the Chiefs are going to win 38-35.
It could be at the end of the game. It
that
could be
was another
overtime.
So I said like Eagles back 40 is my gut feel. That's how the first half pretty much went.
No,
And
I'm
then
with you.
it
I know.
turned
I remember
out-
what you said. It's just fun to poke fun at you.
We're just having
Yeah,
a crack, mate.
I know, guys. Yeah, but seriously though, like
Sorry, I'm going to
I
step away and let
actually
you have
did
your
get
moment.
like the whole feel of the game right, and then look, I almost got right under Jerick McKinnon 2 touchdowns. He just tackled at the one.
Except he got
And
0,
made the
so he was
absolute-
almost right.
And then he made the absolute most
No.
selfless football play of all time,
Yeah.
sliding down at the one. A lot of people wanted me
Yes.
to explain that.
I was pretty
yeah.
happy. I was pretty
Yes.
happy when he didn't get that first TD. To be honest,
100%.
because I was that whole drive. So one of my prop bets, or one of my bets in sorry, not here, my prop bets here, but one of my bets, and especially with the boys, because we had a bit of a bets to mate group just for the Super Bowl. And we absolutely hammered it within 10 minutes of me opening the group. It was hilarious. One of my lines in about 2 of my multis was Pacheco TD, and then they started that drive, and it was McKinnon.
Oh.
McKinnon. Now getting closer with McKinnon, I'm like, no, Pacheco. On the start, every time
Where is he?
they were lining up, I'm like, where's Pacheco? Where's Pacheco?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's McKinnon. Where's Pacheco? No. And then he went down, and then they brought him in on that
On the one.
on that one, and I'm like, yes. Because as soon as he came in, he was in the backfield. I'm like, it's Pacheco, it's Pacheco. I knew it was happening before that snap.
Yeah, speaking of like Chiefs offensive weapons, I think we got to give a shout out to that entire group. Like, we mainly talk about Kelsey, and he was phenomenal in that first quarter. Absolutely incredible. But then the Eagles, they start to notice that they start putting double teams on him. They're all the numbers went towards Kelsey, and then it came up to other guys stepping up, especially one of my draft picks in the fantasy game, Kadarius Toney. Massive touchdown there on the corn dog play. Absolutely love that name too, corn dog.
How good is it?
I still want to know how they. I still want to know because it's called corn dog, and obviously that play, or his TD, Tony's TD, and Sky Moore's TD was the same play, but on opposite sides of the field. And I really want to know now how they distinguish which side that they're going to run corn dog on. Like, because you obviously know out of the huddle which way you're going. Yeah. Because if you watch coaches' film that I've watched a little bit of because I was fascinated by it, and I've seen it on some YouTube videos and stuff with over the last couple of days, is you can watch the entire offensive line push to one side, and they know what they're doing.
Yep.
And fascinatingly enough, they actually push to the side that the ball's going to, which is wild because it's unlike a lot of players where they usually take
showing. You're showing, right?
Yeah. So, corn dog, great name. And I
really
want to know how
what
they go.
The huddle must be like. It's like, okay, everyone rallies in, and you get Pat in the middle going, okay, guys, corn dog left on 2. corn dog left on 2.
Corn dog left. So yes, man. Tony, absolute shout out.
Yeah, Tony, and then of course the punt return he had.
Oh,
that was
massive.
incredible. He had like 5 Eagles players on him.
I thought he was getting in. Did you think he was getting when he got to the punter? When he got to Sipos, level with Sipos, and Sipos got blocked out at that point, I was like, he's in. He's going.
Yeah. Who's left? That's what I was thinking. Who's left?
I was thinking about it. I was like, in my head, when watching that play, I was like, this is going to be the first punt return touchdown in Super Bowl history. I was like, in the back of my mind, I
there
actually
hasn't
thought
been
about
one?
that fact. Yeah, I thought about
wow.
that fact like live, like watching that play. I was like, dang, there's actually going to be a punt return touchdown in the Super Bowl, and he falls 5 yards short.
He ran himself out of room. Does the right thing because
Yeah.
he's running towards the sideline, so your blockers are one side. But I think he actually ran himself out of room. He angled way too much. Because he was basically had to step out before he got hit. He didn't even get hit out. So he kind of ran himself out, but damn, 65 yards. A 65-yard return to put you down at the 5, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the 5. It was beautiful. It's
Put
the
yourself
longest punt
ahead,
return
yeah.
the longest punt return in Super Bowl history too. It's a bit of history there for Kadarius Toney. Incredible. And then look, yeah, Mahomes using all his weapons. Pretty much everyone got in on the scoring action. It was incredible. I thought like Sky Moore, you got Tony, Kelsey, Pacheco, McKinnon unlucky to get a couple. Look, there's a lot of players that deserve a lot of credit out there.
Good game out of Juju as well.
Yeah, Juju had a decent game, and
I know someone who got him in the 4th round of a fantasy draft. Hi. Just saying. We'll cover that later, but just saying. That's the same.
One of my players had a 0, so I'm not even in a Super Bowl.
I
for
thought
God's sake.
Tony was gonna have a 0, and then he got corn dogged. So it was like great. Yeah, the punt return didn't count for anything, but it was great to have like corn dog out there to get me some points there to get me
Punt
to get
return
me
should count.
high in the
Corn dog right for Manjot, right there.
I'm gonna start it for next year for fantasy. Punt returns should count.
Yeah. There's got to be some convention for it, right? We'll work it into the content league.
Wide receivers count, do they not? So wide receiver yards count. So you catch and you run, those yards count. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it not the same thing?
Only because it's on special teams, it's different.
I know, because everyone shit cans special teams, but it's so vitally important. This game, special teams.
It showed you how important it was. There's a difference in the game.
The difference between these two teams, even coming in, everyone was saying it's special teams. The Chiefs have got it over the Eagles on special teams. That offensively and defensively, they all matched up so evenly coming in. And the difference was the special teams. Which
will matter more? A great special teams play or the inability for anyone to stop the Eagles on a short 4th down? It is an unstoppable play. What are we doing on 4th down?
Yeah, we were screaming at TV after a while because we were just going on about it. It's like, what do we... At some point, and like I've heard people saying in the days since, it'll be banned by next year. It'll be banned by next year. Well, number one, no, it won't.
Shouldn't be banned.
No, it won't because it's just a rugby style play.
No one's getting hurt.
It's the roots of NFL. Exactly, they're not getting hurt.
Yeah, that was the game 100 years ago.
If anything, it comes from rugby. That's where it comes from. It's
its granddad.
It's its granddad, but it's that play is actually a rugby play. It's how they play scrums. You know, or more
100%, the rolling
in Australia, that's how scrums used to be played in the league.
You remember those days, Ian? You're just too young to know a real scrum.
Remember when it wasn't just put a ball in and watch it come out the back, and everyone just goes,
watch them pack in and turn 90 degrees and have to repack it because people put in effort.
Every rugby league scrum. I love that. But looking
the days in front rowers are getting up, punching on,
getting up and throwing a haymaker. Yes.
Or even in there, just the
hooker plowing some guy.
Play is like the root of football.
It is.
Yes, you're right.
Exactly. So it is up to every other team defensively to figure out how you stop that. Now the Chiefs had started figuring part of that out after a while. They send one over the top. But what you need to
do, and it didn't stop it.
No, it didn't stop it because they were just
changed the way they did it.
Because they were sending one over the top just to try and stop Hurts pushing through. Right, but they weren't trying to kill the point of where it's all coming from, where the attack comes from in that play, which is actually from Kelsey and it's from
and the other up back,
it's actually the 4 guys across the front. It's all 4 of them, and that's where it comes from. You have to figure out a way to push back against them and to stop them doing it. I did say
It's just difficult because they are the ones who know when the ball's going. It's difficult because they've got this beautiful advantage of knowing that. Yeah,
they know when the ball's going, but it's also
and when.
It's the Eagles on a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2 or like just a 1 or 2 yard play.
Yep.
You know what that play is going to be.
Yeah.
I think, look, any quarterback
Like
sneak
it's just
is
obvious. That you should be able to know and set up. Yeah. So
you froze for a sec there, so Manjot was just in.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Anyway, go. Manjot,
I was going to say any quarterback sneak's actually really hard to defend.
Yeah.
You look at Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo over the years, like those sort of Patriots quarterbacks, they've been so good at finding the crease. Yeah, Trevor, like all these guys find the crease. Yeah. It's incredible, like how they do it. It's an unstoppable play. And look, I'm surprised we've gone this far into the show. We haven't even talked about the Bradbury versus Juju, the holding call that ended the game. I think we need to start. I think. Look, do you want me to start, or do you guys?
You hit it because I reckon you're going to say everything I want to say. So you hit it.
I'm actually going to say the most controversial thing. I'm going to disagree with absolutely everyone. That was a hold. That was a penalty. I know it's very minor, but that was a penalty. There was a handful of jersey right there. Bradbury was grabbing Juju. I watched the play at least 100 times. I watched it over just to show people that it wasn't when he put his hand on the back, but it was before when Juju's turning out of the route. There's a clear grab of the jersey, and you can see it on the reverse angle. The NFL Films angle had it. Even in the stadium, I saw a tweet today. Chris Collinsworth said in the stadium they showed that angle. He didn't understand why everyone else thought that was controversial. And I think everyone's looking at the wrong part of the play. You have to look at the play a little bit before. It's a couple frames before the hand of the back. It's when he's turning out the route. It's a clear grab.
The actual penalty is everyone's looking at the part where they're already turned away and it's his left hand on his hip.
Yep.
And everyone's going, that's not a grab. No, that's not a grab. It's not. Because that wasn't the grab.
The contact was earlier.
The contact was earlier, and it was his right hand into his jersey. It was actually right from the get-go, Manjot, when they took off. And he was grabbing.
And as a defender, that's the right move because you know he's going to rub.
Yeah. So that's what he was doing the whole time.
Got to break the timing up.
So here's me. Yes, I go. Yes, it was a penalty. And what are you doing? The refs called a legitimate penalty. Was a penalty. Is a penalty. They called a penalty. What are you getting on them for calling a penalty for? And people are saying, "Oh, but you can't do it at that point in a game." The player,
you can call it any time. To me, like you, that's a ridiculous proposition.
The player has to understand the size of and the enormity of the play and where you are in the game. Don't make a penalty at that point because you will get called on it. And that's where it comes down to. It's the player, and he admitted fault. He said,
"Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I grabbed him, and I thought I might get away with it, but he didn't,
and he had to. Because what are you going to do? Let Juju blow past you?
Yeah, that's right. And what do you do?
Stupid. You would never do that.
I think the other counter argument to it, and the one thing that does destroy that, is they hadn't called any other defensive PI calls at all for the rest of the game. That was the first one. So there were none, and there were definitely other holds.
Oh, did you see the same matchup in the first half, 3rd and 8, as the Chiefs were around midfield? Hold was 40 times worse.
That's right, and they didn't call it.
Nothing.
And that's where I've heard
on
some
the
people.
chat, on the chat, I called it a BS call, and then Fred Alto and Hurts fumbled the next drive. I was like, "All don't lie," but
But that's the thing, though. It's not for me. It's not for me the fact that was a legitimate call and it has to stand, and you go, yes, it stands because they called it. But why call that one when you haven't called all the others during the game?
Precedence is set, and then you wind it back for that one play in a contentious spot.
The majority of people who aren't inbred Hicks, all they want from the NFL referees is consistency during a game.
Yeah.
If you're going to let them play and not call the ticky-tack stuff during the game, which was brilliant. That game flowed. There was so little penalties. Just keep going. You can't call one at a minute 40 seconds to go and absolutely kill a game. So anyway, I'm on both sides, but definitely I go 100%. That's a penalty. It was a clear penalty. when you look at the right frame and the right part from the beginning of the drive, from the, as you say, Manjot, the NFL films, like the head-on shot. When you look at that whole thing, you can see it. 100%, you can see it.
Yeah, the ref would have seen that exact spot too, and I think, yeah, a lot of
Okay.
people just, they're just complaining for the sake of complaining.
Well, it was actually that head-on ref that called it too. It was the one that was facing them running at him, and before they turned. So the one coming that Kansas City were running at, behind the goals, he was the one that called it. He had a perfect view.
It's a clear hold. Any ref would call it because that amount of jersey pull is so obvious. You got to see that. Yeah. So look, anyone complaining, it was definitely a penalty in my books. And
What I don't understand is why is Juju not really trying to milk that when there were so many worse calls against him all day? He didn't get. Why isn't he throwing his arms up and going, fucking come on, it's been an hour of this. What are you doing, refs? He didn't even milk it to get it. That's kind of a part that's a problem for me. Is he's been getting assaulted all afternoon, says nothing. He gets this little love tap, but he doesn't try and sell it. But he gets the flag on that one. Yeah.
Come
on, man.
The biggest sell came from Mahomes. He was.
Did you see that too? He was over at his back judge.
That's good.
He was pointing for the minute he threw. He was like there, yelling about it. So,
that's
he's going to start getting all the Brady calls too, by the way, which is fine because you want to see the successful teams continue to have success, and you don't want to see the Browns get calls like that in games where, oh fuck, is it going to hurt a good team? Yes, then no.
I just want to say something like about that, Matty, but I think a lot of people after this game have just been talking a lot of shit about Mahomes. I've been seeing online. A lot of people being salty about him. I feel like a lot of tall poppy syndrome's definitely starting to creep in.
Really?
I actually was, even though I'm a Peyton fan, even though I'll admit I have defended Brady a lot at times. I've actually admitted people do get jealous of Brady. I've admitted his success and everything every time it's come up. And look, with Mahomes, the same thing. I'm definitely Mahomes defender. Now, a lot of people going to call me they're going to be like, oh man, Joe, you're meat riding Mahomes all the time. You're just on his dick all the time. But seriously, though, if you defend Mahomes like that, that's exactly what anyone would say. I just think, look, I'm going to put this one out there too. I think Mahomes deserved MVP. I know a lot of people put up Hurts. I know Hurts had a better game statistically, but what Mahomes did, so they only had the ball for 24 minutes. He had a high ankle sprain that got re-injured at the end of the first half. What he had to face up against a defense that had the most sacks. Didn't get sacked at all. Good job by the Chiefs O-line, by the way. Deserve all the credit. And look, he puts up 38 points. And look, I know a lot of people have been talking mad smack about the
31
Niners
points.
and their play. Yeah, look,
31 points. Yeah,
31. Yeah, the defense did have 7 on there, but
it was on the second best offense on the day.
Yeah,
just clearing that up.
There we go. But look, he still led a 10-point comeback in the Super Bowl again. He made it look like chalk and cheese. That's how easy he made that shit look. It was absolutely incredible. I warned 2 weeks ago, if the Eagles want to have a shootout, they're facing off against the guy with the most guns. And look, this guy had the most guns. He found the most weapons out there. He had so many guys to throw to. Patrick Mahomes, I think we've been talking about the Hall of Fame thing. He's definitely in the Hall of Fame if he retired today.
Yep.
If he was to never step foot on a football field again, I'd put him in the Hall of Fame first ballot. I think I'd put him over Rodgers all time right now. I know that's a bit of a stretch. I'd put him over Breeze all time.
He's got more Super Bowls.
Yeah, because of more Super Bowls, more MVPs. Not more MVPs. I know Rodgers has 4, but still, he has more Super Bowl MVPs than Rodgers. The amount of stuff Mahomes has done in his first 5-6 years in the league has been absolutely insane. This is a guy that I have been talking up the last 2 weeks, and I think again he's got to be in the GOAT conversation real soon. His trajectory is actually going really high. Watching Mahomes every week, this guy does stuff that no one can do. That's just incredible. it's something out of this world. I'll be honest, I was one of the guys that did doubt him after getting Tyreek. It was in fantasy terms, but I still doubted him that he would not be a top 10 quarterback in fantasy. I know I got proven wrong. I'll own that take. And look, I think Mahomes, he deserves all the credit. No receiver's going to make Mahomes. Kelsey's not going to make Mahomes. Hill's not going to make Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes. He's going to make his receivers look better for the rest of his career. He's definitely going to go down as a top 2 or 3 quarterback of all time, if not the GOAT. It's just a foregone conclusion in my point. In my opinion, it's just
Yeah.
something, and I really hope it doesn't happen. Something really bad has to go wrong for Mahomes. He has to probably it's either an injury or he just loses all his play somehow. I don't know. But yeah, something really bad has to go for Mahomes not to be in that sort of category in the end. But he's definitely going to bring up a new generation of football. I'm really excited for him. Like kids nowadays, they're going to look up to Mahomes. They're already looking up to Mahomes, but look, kids nowadays, and even like 20 years from now, they're all going to look up to Mahomes as this guy's, he's definitely got to be in that NFL Mount Rushmore of
Oh,
quarterbacks.
he is.
It's
I think he already is.
I'd even put him,
Absolutely.
top. Yeah, I think it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to put him up there in the top 5 QBs of all time at this point
He's
already. But
There was a graphic showing the difference between him and Brady at 27 years the other day, and his numbers were already better than Brady's at the same age.
and that's
And
Mahomes
not
carrying his
close.
team.
Yeah,
And
not
that's
close.
Mahomes carrying his team, by the
Where
way.
Brady was definitely part of. He was not the trailer. Like he was not the truck pulling the trailer. He was important to them, not losing games. But Mahomes is clearly the truck
Yeah.
pulling the
Yeah.
trailer
Yeah,
for the
definitely.
Chiefs. And if you
Mahomes
took him off
doesn't
that
have
team
an elite
tomorrow,
defense.
yeah,
Yeah, they
Yeah,
wouldn't.
if
Yeah,
Mahomes,
they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be anywhere near as good if you took him off that team tomorrow. No way at all.
yeah.
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 Matty,
And I mean,
you
it doesn't have to be
uh,
Chad Henney's team tomorrow, but if you put, I don't know,
Henny,
Tannehill there tomorrow, or just name an average guy,
Yeah.
yeah. Congrats to
Kyler,
Henny
put
on a
Kyler there.
great
I don't know.
career. Yeah, congrats to Jaguars legend Chad Henney on a great career with 2 Super Bowl wins. Absolutely incredible. Holding a Budweiser in his hand to end it is a great retirement pick,
Definitely.
I
Ball in a
think.
bud.
Yeah, and also
Super Bowl in a bud.
more Super Bowl picks and social media. Melvin Gordon, look, man, I've been absolutely hating on you all year. Javonte Williams, I was a big Javonte Williams fan, and you taking all his carries and fumbling them on the goal line. I was absolutely hating on you. I guess you can smoke that pack, man. I know you could smoke the pack of the Chargers of that Chargers fan base. It was funny. I'll admit that was funny, even though I'm a professional Melvin Gordon hater. Even though I'm a professional Melvin Gordon hater, that was pretty funny. And more, the Juju Valentine's card. Man, that I thought that was pretty that was petty, but I like it. I think, bring some rivalry back into the game. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Next season when these 2 teams have a rematch, it's going to be in KC. So who knows? This could be an opening night game. I don't know after what happened between the Broncos and the Panthers all those years ago when they had the rematch after Super Bowl 50. I don't think the NFL wanted to repeat that, but they possibly could have it in KC to open the season, the banner being put up there. I wouldn't mind that. That would be a good start to the season. I'd look forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Matty, MVP result. Are you happy with it? What do you reckon? What's your thoughts?
I don't think it's any question who the best player on the field was, and he's wearing green. And I think this is where you got to bring the word valuable into the question. Is that, and this comes up in the NBA every year, is like, are we just giving it to the guy who we think's got the best story? Are we giving it to the best player? Because valuable is such a subjective term. And what I guess now is, and it's been obvious for years now, is that unless somebody does something extraordinary somewhere else on the field, it goes to the quarterback who wins, and that it's then sort of deemed like that person's the match-winning performer because they touch the ball the most. And I think we've all just got to be okay that that's going to be the case, because if you're going to throw 300 yards, 4 total touchdowns, break records on your legs, put up 35 points. Your offense punts twice. And you don't win the MVP. Well, the only link that's missing is that the other team won, so the guy who's opposite you gets that prize. So I'm not happy with it, no, but I understand it.
Look,
Yeah.
I mean, I did list out my reasons why Mahomes should win. And yeah, I do agree with what you said. I did say Hurts is the better statistical quarterback coming out of that.
But he's
But
not
looking
though.
at what
He's
Mahomes
not
did,
though. He's not though.
I mean, yeah,
I was
passer rating
I
wise.
was the other way. See, I was going Hurts because it was 300 yards and 70 on the ground, or 374 total yards,
Yeah.
4 touchdowns, right? And I was like, well, absolutely, it should be Hurts. But it wasn't until I started looking at the scores and looking at the box score. Yes, it's Mahomes and it's passer rating, but it's also 21 and 27. It's only 182 yards. Big deal.
Yeah.
Whatever. He did also rush for 44, which was the long 26-yarder was astounding.
Yeah, wasn't
And
it?
And he
On one
threw
ankle too.
on one ankle, and you could. There's actually there was just today. I heard it. He was mic'd up during it, and there was a They had
How many F-bombs did he drop?
Well, none actually.
No,
There was
I didn't hear an F-bomb either.
running
You
over.
kidding?
When he hurt his ankle, they had the sound of him. When he hurt his ankle, he's running over and he's just like,
Ow.
on the sideline. Yeah, he's on the sideline. He's just going, God, it hurts. God, it hurts. And then he's just like, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. So it's pretty much, it's that thing where I think you roll it or you hit it the wrong way or you do something and it hurts for that like small period of time. And you have to just go, no, I'm good. And then they've got him doing that 26-yard run, and he was like grunting as he's running. He's like he wasn't
Monica Seles all out
but
there.
just like pushing himself, But anyway, 21 and 27, 182 yards, 44 on the ground, 3 TDs. So his passer rating is better, apart from the yards. And yards,
touchdowns,
really, everything. He threw more touchdowns. He ran almost
not more.
Yeah.
He
Hey?
didn't throw more.
Yeah, he did. He threw 3.
Oh yeah. Sorry. No, gotcha.
He threw 3. Hurts only threw 1. That's the point. See, they're pretty similar apart from yards, is what I'm getting at.
Well, Hurts had 4 touchdowns.
That's why, and also looking at the storylines.
You can't count all of Hurts' touchdowns though. And I
You
got on
can't
this.
count all of Hurts' touchdowns.
No,
How come?
I mean,
You
couple
can't
of quarterback
count?
sneaks, right?
That's right. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Are we counting Pacheco's touchdown?
different things?
It's
a
a
really-
1-yard rush.
Okay,
I know.
okay.
I know
no,
that, but
in
we're not talking about
context here.
Pacheco being the MVP either, are we? Though.
No, but he had 1-1-yard rush. This guy had 3, and he threw 1, and he had 300 yards, and he broke a record of rushing.
All
I
three.
don't know what more you want from the guy.
All 3 of his rushing touchdowns were 1 yard rush. Were 1 yards.
Well,
Or
and
2
if
yards.
Pacheco had 3 1-yard rushing touchdowns, are we saying none of those count?
No,
What are we
because it's different,
doing
because
here?
his yards over the rest of the game would be different. That's what I was getting
Would
on.
they?
That's what I was getting on when we get into the fantasy thing, and you weren't giving it to one boys because the amount of rushing yards that Philly had, and we were saying that Kansas City didn't stop the rush because they had 115 total rushing yards, which is bullshit because
And 3 touchdowns.
Hurts was 70 of them. So technically they stopped the rush because unless it was a designed QB run, which none of them were, they stopped the rush. It's
They stopped the rush until it got to the goal line. They couldn't stop fucking anything. They couldn't stop a drunk toddler.
And that's on the O-line more than
But we'll give him
Hurts
credit.
in
We'll
that-
give the defense credit for not being able to
That's-
stop 3 touchdowns. It's the
On those
dumbest
QB
argument, Ian.
sneaks,
Come
though.
on, wake up.
On the QB sneaks,
not.
though, those are more O-line than Hurts. To be fair, like those touchdowns are more the O-line's great push than Hurts. We already mentioned it when we were talking about those
Oh,
QB
hang on.
sneak
Did
plays.
Pacheco go out on a sweep and have to beat 2 guys on the edge? What are we talking about, Manjot? Come on.
No, okay. What I'm trying to say
Pacheco
is
went in
Mahomes definitely.
untouched. Oh, it's not
Mahomes, if you look
Pacheco.
at the
It's an
story of the
O-line.
game,
It is.
If you look at the story of the game, Mahomes led a
both
10-point
drunk?
comeback.
no,
Mahomes led a 10-point comeback on one ankle while only having the ball for 24 minutes. Look,
that's where it comes into, and it
That's
comes
where
into
it is.
MVP. It's 24 minutes of total offensive time. He only had the ball for 24 minutes, and of those 24 minutes, he didn't pass for 24 minutes. there was a lot of rush plays in all that as well. So there was a lot of that too. Just as many, actually more. More carries than there were actual passes. So he had less opportunity to pass the ball to score or gain the statistics he did get. And then you do have to factor in to Hertz's game. And yes, because you're saying now it's not an O-line thing. It's he got it. Well, in terms of O-line, Hertz's O-line let him get sacked twice. And then he had the fumble on top of that, which was an unforced error, his own fumble. So that all counts into that whole thing as well.
Yeah.
Are we counting a touchdown drive for a 1-play 4-yard pass?
I do get what you mean in terms of if he was the winning quarterback.
If we're discounting stuff, I'm going to discount that.
If he was the winning quarterback, he would have got MVP. Yes. That's stupid. Yeah. It is so dumb because you really do take that.
And he would have got it in the most emphatic style. They were going, this is the best MVP performance ever to be an MVP performance. It would have been the case. It's the dumbest argument.
Even in
but it's also you could also make an argument. If you look at the Eagles, let's say the Eagles won, right? Devonta Smith had 7 carries for 100 yards. It's 7 receptions, for 100 yards. So, like, AJ Brown had 6 for 96 and a TD. There were other people on that team that performed, I think, equally.
You would have to combine those two to make them close to an MVP for wide receiver. Like when Deion Branch won MVP in the Super Bowl, he had to have 13 catches, and I think he had 1 touchdown, but 140 yards. Like you would almost have had to have combined those two receivers to get close to being an MVP performance, taking it away from Hurts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like because the bar is different.
I think it is that metric, like you said, they were looking at the word valuable and how the person fits in terms of how the team won. Like last season,
it's now match winning, not most valuable.
Last season, it went to the most valuable player in the Super Bowl in that winning team.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because of the way he played, he wasn't just a wide receiver. He was valuable to every part of that offense. So
Deebo Samuel's been trying to copy him all year.
Yes.
Oh, no. Yeah, but look on the Niners.
He just walked past.
On the Niners. No. You mentioned Deebo though. A lot of people,
he was in the crowd like me. He was just watching like me, mate. Deebo.
Yeah, look, a lot of people have been saying we're salty. You guys actually looked past like what they were saying on the podcast. They were calling out all of these guys. They called out the Eagles defense. They said that you can beat them through their secondary. Their secondary is not that good. Their D-line made them all pros. And look,
Deebo would know. He had like 7 yards against them in the championship game. So Deebo was the guy to talk to.
With no quarterback. Come on, Matty. That's not even
fair.
He
doesn't need a quarterback. Do it all. Deebo rushes the ball. You told me you needed to pick him as a running back. Come on, man. I've got receipts.
Come on, man. Come on. Look.
I'm going to do a dream sequence here and pull your receipts out, man.
No, I'm trying to say here is that Ayuk said that KC was going to expose that defense. That was facts. They won the game because they exposed the defense. So
they won the game because they got a turnover. The other team didn't.
So anyone
they got a 60-yard punt return. The other team didn't. They didn't expose their defense and win the game by exposing their defense.
Yes, they did. The defense did choke a lot.
The special teams and a turnover.
They didn't choke. They were never. The whole thing about they were never going to sack Mahomes. They didn't
expose their defense and win the game.
There was already fact going in that there was so little likelihood that man has
had a turnover in a special teams play.
That's right. Mahomes has hardly ever been sacked his entire career. They weren't going to start now with 14 during a Super Bowl. He's not Joe Burrow, for fuck's sake, right? Yeah. So he moves. The man moves, and he knows he gets the ball out with Tom Brady like speed when he needs to. So
it's okay that Ayuk's wrong. It's okay.
It is.
I still love him. We'll still draft him next year, Manjot. It's okay that he's wrong.
It's not his fault that he's a 49er and he's wrong. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We can still draft him next year for the Western Wankers. I promise we can.
Just wanted to say,
unless someone else takes me first.
Yeah, not going to happen. And Manjot will take him in the second round.
First round, Ayuk.
Deebo first round, Ayuk second round. That's how it goes.
Yeah, McCaffrey first round if we're getting high enough pick.
We're going to be picking second, so we won't be there.
Second year McCaffrey too, though. I don't know if you really want.
Anyway. Have you rigged the draft already, Matty?
Yep.
in Astro. All right.
Right.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
The team I'm going for in this game is the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, I love Patrick Mahomes. I love Travis Kelce. I love that team. I also really fucking hate the Eagles, especially them fans talking shit about us. Look, I hope they get humbled in this game. I really do. Because I'm going for the Chiefs. I think the Eagles will win. I think that they're a good enough team that they can actually beat them by 2 scores. At the last minute, while we've been talking about this game, the one name that's been standing out to me is Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chiefs will win, but it'll be very, very close by 3 points.
When the Eagles win by 14, Manjot's going to claim that he won, or if the Chiefs win, he's going to claim.
He's gone both. He's gone Chiefs and Eagles and Chiefs.
He's sat so hard on the fence that there are splinters.